Guys, this is another video. This video is going to be pretty short, but it's just going to be about kind of changing up the native dashboard that Home Assistant offers. So we're going to be utilizing what's called Lovelace UI, and that's kind of a UI that Home Assistant provides users like us to customize, where buttons go, what entities, what devices can get triggered based on a button press. With that being said, let's get into it. As you can see now, this is the dashboard. And yes, we've added devices, we've added integrations, we've added our Combi2 stick. We made it pretty much functional where you can add your own stuff, right? But it's not that pretty. This bedroom stuff, why do we even need this consumption on here? Voltage, current. This it's nice, right? And then this just shows you the history. That outside, I don't even have the stuff. And this weather is also pretty nice. Updater we don't need. You can see it's very cluttered. It's not very organized. So we're going to go through how to make this more cleaned up and make it more nice. So this is a default dashboard that Home Assistant comes with. And we can actually edit it by going to those three dots in the upper right and click Edit Dashboard. And then it's saying this is the default dashboard. Are you sure you want to take control of your user interface? Yes, take control. You can see here, you can actually add different dashboards. So you can have dashboards for like maybe front room, if you have a front door with like a camera, some lights, some switches, or you can have a bedroom kind of tab to make have more control over your bedroom and so on. But for now, I'm just going to keep it as, maybe bedroom, just because, I don't have that many smart devices, but as you add more, you can actually add more tabs. We'll just call this bedroom. You can see you can change the theme, the URL, icons, which we don't need to worry about. But okay, so yes, we've added the bedroom. So if we can actually go to the add card button, and you can see it gives you some pretty nice, elements to add. So you have a weather forecast, which would be pretty nice. You can have entities, which we saw on that default dashboard. If you have an alarm, you can add an alarm panel and so on. But for now, I think since I don't have that many smart devices, let's just go with the weather forecast. So you can see here, this entity, which entity is like a device, but it's more specific. So Home Assistant has a predefined entity called weather.home, and it gets your location, gets the weather of that location. So name can be optional, but I'm just gonna name it maybe like weather and spring. You can see it automatically adjusts based on width. The theme we don't need to worry about. Secondary info, which would be this little cloud icon. You can change it from being humidity. I think wind speed would be pretty nice for me. And then we can just hit save. But before we do that, the code editor. So like I mentioned before, all Home Assistant is based around this code called YAML, or code file is called YAML. And if you don't know what YAML is, it's basically what you see here. So it's the syntax is you have a key, a colon, and then the value. And it can be pretty intense if you get more into Home Assistant, but we won't worry about that for this video. But for now, we have all that. So we can hit save, and you can see it puts it in the middle there. So that's great. But what if we want to actually add our devices? So now that we've added the weather card, we can add what's called a vertical stack. And so just like it sounds, you can add buttons on top of buttons, just so it makes everything a lot more organized with what you are wanting to do. So in this case, I want to have a button that controls my fan. And you can customize the name of it and also show the state if you want. Hide by icon, you can customize the height of it as well. And so below it, we can add entities. It has the current fan consumption, total consumption, today's consumption, and you can change the entities with what you want. Remember, those entities are basically individual, I guess, actions or measures of your device. In this case, the bedroom fan has a current consumption entity, a total consumption entity, and also a today's consumption energy as well. You can add a header, you can add a picture if you want, which I'll just keep for now, but you can also change it based on the link. And then you can also add, the theme. You can have the color icons based on the state. So if it's off or on as well. And so that's how you add the buttons. So now that we added our beautiful button layout, we can add another one with the camera, with my camera that I added. So we're going to search vertical stack again. In this case, we can just hit any one of these picture ones. And then we can actually change the camera entity to our front door. And so you see here's a somewhat live update of whatever is happening outside the front door. And you can change the entities to be, okay, is there a motion at the front door? Is there a ring at the front door? As well as when was the last motion, the last activity that was at the front door? And then we can add below it the entities to it. So again, we can add entities, and then we can change these to be what we just put in. So clear, clear, and the other one was the last motion. So very easy, right? And then you can add it, and then you can also move it in the middle or at the end if you want. I think that looks somewhat good. And so there's the camera being added. And so now we can add the door sensor that we added in the last video as well. And then the cool thing is that we can add by entity. So if you search in door, we can have this battery and the front door sensor. We can hit continue, and then that's cool. Home Assistant gives you a suggestion. So we're going to set add to Lovelace UI, and right here you can see that's right there. Again, it's still not the best. It's still not pretty, but it is definitely a lot better than the default of what Home Assistant gives you. We have our dashboard, but you can see it's all light mode. I am a person who does not like light mode. So if you want to change the theme very quickly, you can just go to your profile in the bottom left-hand corner, and you can hit dark mode. And then here you can see it changes the nav bar and it changes the background. If you want to further customize your Lovelace UI, there are tons of guides out there for specific themes, but that requires us to have to go into the YAML files, which I will hopefully cover in another video. I think Lovelace UI by itself, what we just did is awesome for only taking a couple minutes to do. So if you want to dive more into the YAML files, that might take more time, but I think for now, this is a pretty good start to what we have.